What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today, we go off a lot, Chubbz. We talk about how much we don't like my fucking microtransaction loot boxes, right? And I think a lot of people assume that this is us saying fuck loot boxes, period.
In general.
Yes. Now here's the thing. This is never us saying fuck loot boxes, okay? You want to have loot boxes be some sort of progression in your game, in a game where it makes sense, like Vermintide 2. Where, we just went, we raided this enemy place. Ooh, look, we got loot chests.
Spoils of war.
Yeah, spoils of war. We open it. Oh, what did we get out of there? Oh, well, it's nothing I really needed, but that's to be expected since it's random junk at the end of an enemy camp or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loot boxes aren't the problem. It's when they start selling the loot boxes. Okay? Here's why. As a smart person, okay? Like someone who can see angles, in people's fucking motivations.
Oh, yeah.
So the angle for someone selling you a loot box is obviously to get you to buy the loot box, right? Like, if Vermintide 2 all of a sudden decided to sell these loot chests, these spoils of war, and you could buy from the commoners all the way up to, like, the kings or whatever the highest one is. We haven't even got yet because you got to do the higher difficulties to get them.
And then the higher difficulties change the loot chests as well. So when you're playing Recruit, they're called strong boxes, and then you go to Veteran, they're actually called coffers. They look completely different.
Oh, okay.
So they actually do increase the rarity of you getting that something good, the harder.
Something better, yeah, the harder you do.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's the incentive to run higher difficulty is to get better gear so you can run higher difficulty, and on and on. And so the thing is, if they decided to sell those, now when I get a loot box and it's got crap in it, I'm immediately going to be suspect, right? Because this is for sale. Are they giving me stuff like at a shitty drop rate because they want me to buy them? Because they want me to buy them.
Right. They're there to incentivize people to get them to psychologically fork over money.
Over and over, yes.
Thousands of dollars.
Okay, and here's the thing, that in a case like Vermintide 2, it would automatically break the game. It would be pay to win at that point. If you could buy loot boxes, you could buy better gear. You're going to be, you're still not going to be able to be good.
Right.
But if you have all that stuff, you can now run, like any of the difficulties at probably no problem. If you can just spend upwards of $500-600 and get a whole set of legendary fucking titsed out gear, re-roll everything to fit the stats that you want, and build the perfect character, you're all of a sudden you've done what it takes others fucking, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours to do. You've achieved what others spend 80 hours in the game. So that would undermine not only that, but it would undermine the entire point of playing the game, right? So the developer themselves would be, and that's why I loved when Monster Hunter World was coming out. And I can't remember his name, but the game director of Monster Hunter World, when he came out and he said, no, we're not going to sell loot boxes. We're not going to sell time skips.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to do that because that would simply undermine the experience that we have curtailed for you.
Yeah, the randomized loot is already part of the game.
And we've already seen in games like Assassin's Creed Origins where they take the time skip route, the player option, that path, and they say, well, you can buy drachmas, and in return, you can buy loot chests, you can buy gear, you can buy all this stuff that'll make your time in here easier. You can buy fucking skill points. Don't want to go out and level up? Just buy some level ups right here. Fucking money right here. Just throw it here. Okay? Now, that's one instance where it's walking the line almost to what I would say would be a non-invasive way to actually offer up the player choice that they always like to spout. It's about player choice. If players want to skip our game, we don't want to take that choice away from them. It's dumb because it's like undermining the entire experience we created, and it's letting them skip, difficult challenges that we specifically curtailed for the playthrough. You know what I mean? That we wanted in these instances, but at the same time, it's player choice. Well, they were almost there. The problem is that by selling drachmas, now I'm immediately suspect. As someone who's not going to be spending money on these microtransactions on top of a fucking $60 purchased game, right? I'm not going to be buying these things. Now I'm automatically suspect of how many drachmas I'm getting.
Right.
What's the real drop rate with these loot chests? And I never felt like I wasn't getting things when I'd get those just through gameplay.
Right.
I always felt like I was getting things. That's why for me, In our review, I said they walked this line where they almost had me at this point where I was like, I don't even fucking care, right? But it was when you're selling like the in-game currency. Now I don't know if I'm getting them at a fucking rate that isn't fucked with.
Right. Like
since you want me to buy it.
Exactly.
You have it for sale. You want me to buy it.
Exactly. It's fixed at a low amount. I can only get so much just from killing enemies and going out and looting stuff. And it undermines their end game because that's like their entire point of the game.
What end game?
It's just to buy the loot
chest. Just to buy the loot chest and collect, and all the weapons. That's
level up,
And level up. That would be it. To fill out your skill tree, and then beyond that, upgrade your stats so you could do the horde mode arena and So that's the thing. The game. That's where I start to have a problem with it because it automatically undermines. It's like Overwatch loot boxes. Overwatch's loot boxes are so close, or even fuck it, let's go Fortnite. Fortnite's loot boxes are almost exactly like this, except for instead they have one that you do earn through game and you can't get outside of doing the story mode, right? And it levels up much the same way. It takes into account like how much you've built, how much you've looted, how much enemies you've fought, and there's a bar for each one, and the higher that is, the higher up your loot chest goes. And in those, I've never gotten anything, honestly, that I gave a fuck about. Not once. Not once did I ever get anything out of those. Now, let's move on to the piñatas. Now we got our premium loot box on top of the already loot box that's there to get players used to loot boxes and used to getting loot that way. Now we have some for sale. Oh, and they're pretty. When you bust them open, candy hits the ground and it spreads out all over the place. And it's just like you're at a fucking birthday party, And it's a piñata. Break it open. Yeah, and sometimes it turns silver. And then sometimes if you hit it just right, it'll turn gold. And then, oh, look at all the purple and orange. Wow. Yay. Okay, so that's the thing. So let's take Fortnite's loot boxes, the piñatas. Let's take Overwatch's loot boxes. You get one every time you level up. Here's a freebie. It's on the house. Comped. We have these for sale. If you want to buy more, they're over here. But here's one for free. Just one for free. And so like you have the same sort of thing there where in both of these games, the reason I despise the fucking loot boxes, but in a game like fucking Warhammer Vermintide 2, I'm like, I like these loot boxes. This is fun.
Right.
I enjoy this part of the game. Coming back here, opening these up, going to the blacksmith, breaking down what I don't need, crafting another item that will have random rolls on it too. I enjoy this. Why? I kept asking myself, why? And then I remember I turned to you, I said, and Nito. We were playing with Nito too at the time. And I was like, you know what it is, guys? You know why I hate fucking loot boxes in other games? It's because they have them for sale. And if they had them for sale, then I don't know that they haven't fucked with the rate of drops, the fucking rate of, not only that, they're fixed, they're fixing how many loot boxes you get. In Overwatch, it's not like you get a loot box at the end of every match, right?
Only if you level up.
Only if you level up. Then you get one. You get one when you level up.
And you could even get that if you lose. If you just push that experience cap to the next level, even if you lose, you'll get that loot box.
So so it doesn't even matter. It's like the match really doesn't matter when it comes to loot box. I mean, you probably get more XP for playing well. So,
right.
It does matter there. But the thing is at the end of every goddamn Vermintide match you win, you get a loot chest. No matter what, because you have successfully raided and completed it and gotten away, you got to grab some random loot on your fucking way out the door. The door filled up his chest on his back.
Yeah,
his cute little
treasure chest on his back.
His cute little treasure hacky, or what do they call those? The fanny pack.
Yeah.
His cute little backpack. His chest backpack. He loads it up, we get away, and then we're back at the fucking, the safe house. Let's look what we got, and we separate the spoils of war.
And that's the thing. That's only if we win. That incentivizes you to actually play the game and do well and actually beat it. If you lose and you all die, you don't get shit. Unless you level up, because they do have that same kind of system with the Overwatch, where if your character levels up, you will get a loot chest specific for that character, right?
Yeah, so you're getting a potential 2 every match, especially in the beginning where you're getting enough XP to level up almost every match.
And this is what's really smart about it. This is why I really like Monster Hunter World's loot system, is you can have certain things there in place organically, just like playing the match, that actually sways the loot in your favor.
Yeah, there is.
Monster Hunter World.
There's like the vouchers.
Yeah, breaking stuff off, slashing
and
stuff
even
off.
then, me and Toxic, we were trying to get the Val Hazak gem. He wanted to get the pants. I wanted to get the badass hammer that looks like a fucking heavy metal axe.
Yeah, the two-handed
axe.
It's
so fucking awesome, dude. It looks so fucking awesome. Anyway, I wanted to get that. So I was like, man, we ran it like fuck so many times. And this was after I had been running him all night before Toxic got on and joined me. And then we even killed him, I think, with his friend Izzy. And fucking, so like we had done this over and over again. And Toxic was like, oh, you know what? And that's like, he remembered, like he had heard something. He had never done it yet. But there's, at the bounty guys, there's a limited bounties that you, like, you don't have to accept them. It's just like kill, like, for instance, we had to kill 5 Black Diablos. We had to kill, you know, do like rank 9 plus missions like 4 times or whatever. But when you completed all of this, they give you this gold Wyvern print, which you can take to the melder and turn into any gem you want. See what I mean? And so, like, that's the thing, like, fuck.
There's certain ways to go around it. And then another thing is when you're so say you needed a fang or a claw.
Yeah, there's definitely things you can meld too.
And say nobody broke it off or cut it off. Well, okay, you killed it. Okay, well, say you needed a fang or a talon, right? So you go to the claw or you go to the mouth and you carve that specific body part. That actually increases your chance of getting that specific body part from the monster.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so say you didn't cut off the tail, you went to loot the carcass, you need its tail. If you loot the tail, like carve into the tail, the chances of you getting the tail are increased.
Yeah. It's so, like, that's the thing. In a game like Overwatch, when you look at a game like Overwatch where it's all just like, okay, here's a loot box when you level up. And fuck, even fucking Fortnite.
Right.
Which I would say is even worse. Like, I think they're both bad. I think the main reason that they're both bad is because they're very cartoony and they have obviously marketed themselves towards a younger audience. That's why I think they're fucking worse than even Vermintide's loot boxes. Which Vermintide's loot boxes, in my opinion, aren't fucking bad. I love them.
And another thing is,
I love the loot in fucking Vermintide 2. I'm loving the gameplay in Vermintide 2.
Bringing it back to the loot system in Vermintide 2. Okay, so there's tomes, there's grimoires. If you just hop into a quick play with random people online, that incentivizes you to get more loot. Because the thing about the chest is after you complete certain objectives within the mission, collect so many tomes, collect so many grimoires, do this little thing, it increases the experience and levels up that loot chest.
Yeah, so it turns into a better loot chest. It's exactly the way it is with the
Fortnite.
With the Fortnite ones. But the thing about the Fortnite ones is they're not giving you loot pinatas.
No.
They're not giving you, they're giving you these...
It's like, you can do this exact same system,
I mean,
but
you're
we're gonna sell these things to you
I'm
as well.
opening these fucking things and I'm getting, like, wood.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, what did that save me? 2 fucking swings on a fucking tree in game?
And then
Thanks.
you click over to the store.
Yeah. And they have all these things going on in Fortnite where it's like, oh, we'll send out your fucking raiding party to get what? Wood? To get what? Rocks? Like, survivors? To get low-level white survivors so I can use them in my collector's book and never have them again after that? And it's just all this fucking busy work thrown at the player. Alright? Now, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just not to my liking. Because, like I said, all of it seems pointless to me because I'm suspect of all of it. Because I feel like all of it's there just to keep me into this fucking gameplay loop and keep me addicted to this game and coming back. Oh, I gotta get in and open my research tree and fucking collect my points since I'm only allowed to hold on to so many. And then I gotta spend them. And then while I'm there, I might as well run a match. Oh, I got a loot chest from this. Oh, I might as well buy a few pinatas. Might as well buy a few pinatas.
It legitimately feels like you buy this game, right, and the game company throws
I spent more
on your ankles, right?
And I spent more for the Fortnite early access. I spent more for the Fortnite early access than I did for the fucking Vermintide 2. And Vermintide 2 is 100% the fucking superior game.
Oh yeah. Massive world, massive content. How many missions? I can't even remember. Like 12 missions or something like that. There was 4 different boss fight missions.
Yeah.
You know, the final mission is the longest one, the Skittergate mission. What, it took us about an hour just to get through the entire thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just
and that's not even exploring alone. That's not even looking around for tomes and grimoires and shit. Yeah. So that's the thing, and I'm not suspect of them when they give me loot boxes.
Right, and it makes sense in the context of the game.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I really love. Like, for example, Sea of Thieves. It's a pirate game. I would expect, like, loot boxes to be a part of the game, but it would be called treasure chest.
Yeah, like a loot
and
chest
it's pirates,
or a treasure chest.
You know, X marks the spot. Arr, my treasure, you know?
Yeah, and then you dig
every
it up.
single character have their own personal treasure chest. Have them go out and do PvE missions to fill that treasure chest and make the PvP focused around other pirates trying to get your treasure chest and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, there are good ways to put loot boxes in the game, but it needs to be made sense through the context of what is going on.
And even
you know,
then,
like a first-person shooter in the space where we're all just running around in an arena, killing each other. Oh, but there's a random box at the end where we get loot.
Yeah.
And we can buy them. What? Why?
Yeah, why
You know
is it
what I
loot
mean?
boxes?
Why?
And why are there fucking skins in the loot boxes?
Yeah.
And why is it, you know what I mean?
How does any of that make sense?
Well, and it doesn't even then, it just, you know, my deal with the loot boxes, even if it doesn't make sense through gameplay, even if it's just some random bullshit nonsense, okay?
Right.
Outside of card games, and I say this legitimately, I think it is ridiculously funny to hear people attack Hearthstone and Blizzard for fucking Hearthstone's drop rates. I think it is ridiculously funny. I find it crazy funny because it's the same thing as if I was going to the card shop. I know how much a pack of Magic costs. I'm buying it. I may not like what I get inside of it. I may not fucking, you know, whatever. But when I open it, all of a sudden I don't like what I get. And I'm like, what the fuck, Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah.
You fucking, I didn't like what I got in this card pack that you've set the price for, that you have made available for purchase. Like, if you're playing Hearthstone and you're bitching about the card drops, just stop playing it. There's other card games to play that are more fair. There are so many. I mean, just go on fucking Steam and look up card games. It is fucking ridiculous. There are so many fucking digital card games. There's independent card companies now. There's a card game. It doesn't even cost more than the purchase, right? And it's got like a campaign mode where you're playing through and I can't remember the name of it, but I watched a review on it at some point. I was interested. I kept hearing good things about it. I was looking at the reviews on Steam. It was praised pretty well. I was just curious about, like, what the fuck is up with these fucking card games?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're just like,
this card game, and then there was another one that was like a roguelike card game where you had to, like, it was like each playthrough was different and you got different cards each playthrough. And it's like this cool, and dude, like, it's like, at what point do you just say, okay, well, I'm not going to complain about Hearthstone fucking shit, because it's a card game that I'm buying a pack for, and I'm not enjoying what I get out of the pack. Well, fuck the pack. I'm just not going to buy it. I'll play a different card game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
There's
what I mean?
a lot of other card games out there.
The thing with fucking Overwatch, and this is also another thing, is it never gets criticized. Right? Fortnite, this is the biggest game in the fucking world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Fortnite is the biggest game in the world. And it has the most predatory loot box. I'd say they're even worse than the ones in Overwatch. I would venture to say they're even worse than the ones in Overwatch because of how colorfully and cartoon designed they were.
Pinatas with animations that blink and talk at
and
you.
like fucking streamers come flying out and it's like a big event. Fucking like
what do they think? Pinatas are for adults? Pinatas are for kids' birthday parties.
Yeah.
These are things from their original fucking creation in the United States were for kids' fucking birthday parties, right? Like, you never went to an adult's, like, for instance, have you ever personally been to a party for somebody in their 20s beyond, an adult, and seen a pinata, and it was like, we're gonna crack that open?
No,
later.
it's obviously
You know what I mean?
a very cute, very kid-friendly way to make something that's there to prey on people's addictions.
Yes.
People with weak minds who don't understand what they're getting into. And there's $1 billion like part of the industry. I mean, more than billions, I'm sure, because I'm sure that marketing is factored into this, other things factor into this. But there's a fucking huge portion of money that's going to engineer these things to be mentally seductive. 100% mentally seductive. To get people who are caught unawares by them, and it seems fucking silly. It seems ridiculous. Honestly, up until recently, when I started reading a lot of these accounts of people who started playing games on their phone in their, like, early teens and then slowly got addicted to these loot boxes to the point where they're throwing down $1,000 on CSGO a month just to buy fucking loot boxes that contain skins.
Right.
Right? So once I started to read more of these, I mean, it was fucking ridiculous to me. I could not comprehend why, like, Overwatch with this loot box system was so popular. Why a game like Fortnite would just be, like, praised over these fucking loot boxes. Even Rocket League. Fuck, I'm sorry, and I love Psyonix. And I think they have definitely put in more work into smoothing out and making it than Blizzard ever has with Overwatch.
Instead of, like, restricting the market to, you can only get it from us, they kind of took it away from their control and almost split it away to an entirely different game where it's player interactions that
here's the problem with the trading.
But at the same time, they're still bullshit. And in that case, specifically, because you have to have not just the crate, but the key as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's dumb.
And the thing is I'm not saying Psyonix hasn't put work back into Rocket League and added, you know, smoothing and things like that, because I've seen not only myself play it from when it first dropped.
But let's be honest, it's still predatory.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely, that's what they, by definition, that's what they do, okay? The loot boxes in Vermintide are no fucking different. Like, we get a rush of endorphins when we get something good out of these loot boxes. Mm-hmm. We get excited when we get good loot. We get excited when we get a good loot chest. Before we even open the loot chest, we're like, ooh, this is a fucking decent loot box. Yeah.
Ooh,
fuck, you know, man, like, we might get something good out of this.
And then you get that legendary, you're like, oh shit, now this is gonna change my build.
So there's no difference between the loot boxes, the way the loot boxes in Vermintide 2 affect my brain and the ones in the other one do. The only difference is integrity of the drop and experience earning the loot chest. Alright, me and Chubbz and Chris and Nito or Turvis, we just had to go through fucking hell to beat this fucking mission. Like, we were dropping, we were picking each other up, we were leapfrog reviving, we fucking got into like 3 fights with boss mobs. This was intense, you know, we saw an ogre, we saw an abomination, we saw, you know, all this storm fiend. Like, we were against the fucking wall, we pushed our way out, we got out of this, we earned this fucking loot. Yep. We picked it up on the way out, we threw it on the dwarf's back, we made it into the portal, we're safe now, let's see what we got out of there. And then we'll divide it up and split it up. And that's the thing. On Overwatches, it's like, this is fucking the way it is. Right? You can't recycle skins you don't want and make currency, can you? Is there some option for that? Because you can with fucking Vermintide 2. You can take anything out of those loot boxes that you don't want. You can recycle them and craft different things. Right? It's the integrity behind the system. I know the ones in Vermintide 2 are going to be fair for me and everyone else who buys the game. There will be no fucking numbers. There will be no fucking, like, tweaking things, trying to turn players into payers.
Right.
That's not happening here because we've already paid. We are here to play.
It's the real life equivalent of paying these companies $60 or however much for the upfront price. They throw cuffs on your ankles and tell you to run.
Yeah.
And you can pay to take those ankle cuffs off. But if you don't, you're stuck at a fixed speed, and you have to go at that speed throughout the entire experience.
And you'll get updates when we decide, you know, that when we decide that there's an update worth coming, you'll get more content, you'll decide.
Yep.
It's like Vermintide 2, it's straight up. This is what the game is.
Here you go.
Here it is. Go have fun.
Yep.
Go play.
Yep.
We're not trying to turn you into a payer. Us trying to turn you into a payer was us showing this badass fucking trailer.
Yeah.
We've
already turned you into a payer. You bought the game.
You have bought the game. You are now a player in our arena.
Ended.
Yeah, you are now a player in our home. Thank you. Have some fucking fun.
Yep.
Right? But in Overwatch, in fucking Fortnite, when I gave them $40, which is exactly what Vermintide 2 costs without a sale. When I entered fucking Epic's fucking playroom in Fortnite, I was up against it immediately because they have loot for sale.
Yep.
They want me to buy it.
They have those ankle cuffs.
That shit doesn't exist unless they want you to buy it. They want you to trip up, like you said, with the cuffs. They want you to eat shit in the face.
You have to go slow. You can't sprint. They're putting those things on you and saying run.
Here's a restriction.
Knowing you have to go only as fast as you can go.
Here's a restriction on how many research points you can cap and hold. Here's a restriction on, you know, this, that, or the other. And it's the same basic sort of short gameplay loop as a Vermintide. Like a Vermintide, you go in the mission, you make it to the end, you do the objectives, you get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Fortnite match, you go in, you salvage, you do what you do, you fucking finish the mission objectives, you get out. Right? It's the same sort of gameplay loop, but one doesn't have like 30 goddamn menu screens for you to keep up on fucking things that you need to watch a timed, you know, thing so you can come back to it later. No, Vermintide's like, here you go, play. Have fun. Have fun. All right, now that's the thing. If that's the sort of thing you're into, you want to like have 40 menu screens and watch 40 different resources all at once and, you know, get loot boxes and, you know, hopefully get a piñata when you level up or complete certain fucking milestones. And then out of that piñata, hopefully get something that's usable. You know, you want to collect things only to put them in a sticker book, not to have them anymore. Right? If that's the sort of thing, then Fortnite's the game for you. But if you're someone who wants a challenge, a bloody grueling fucking challenge, one that will test your skill as a gamer, your reflexes as a human being, your compassion and love for your friends that you're playing with, because everyone's gonna make mistakes, everyone's gonna fuck up, you know what I mean? And these are the sorts of experience that warriors are forged in. And Vermintide 2 is a goddamn warrior gamer's game. And all these other ones are fucking pale in comparison to this game made by this small company who's keeping the lights on without selling fucking loot boxes, keeping the lights on without selling anything extra except for a $15 collector's pack that comes with a skin for every single character and a special heroic deed you can do.
Which max is $45.
Which max? No, it's $55. If you buy Vermintide off sale, that's the thing. Vermintide goes on sale a lot.
But it's only 30, the base version of the game, isn't it?
Is it 30? I thought it was 40.
Was it 40?
I think it's 40. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Well, we picked it up for $27.
It's worth 60.
Yeah.
It's worth 60.
Oh yeah, that's the number one thing, is they're not selling it as a full AAA title.
Well, it's because they're not cocksuckers. Yeah. They're honest with themselves and their customers by giving them a digital sale price.
They're like, we know how much money we spend into this.
Yes, you're buying a digital thing that all we're having to do is transfer data to you. We're not having to print it on a disc. We're not having to throw it in a truck. We're not having to transport it from here to there, then for it to get into your hands. This isn't something like that. This is, you are getting data, right? It's costing us the internet connection. That's what it's costing us. So we'll sell it for what we, you know, we're not going to sell it for 60.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. No other companies do that. On the console, I was seeing games drop for $60 that were 30 on the fucking PC day one. I was seeing like 2K's Abomination, whatever it was, the one that was supposed to be kind of like Vermintide, but it was player versus player. It was the group of hunters versus a giant monster.
The Evolve?
Evolve. That was free to play on the PC, still $40 on the console. What?
Yeah.
See, so that tells you like who.
Well, and then another one.
That tells you who they're fucking around with.
Oh yeah,
they're fucking around with console people left and right.
Well, another more recent one that you just said, we could technically get Dark Souls remastered version for PC for $20.
$20 because we've already bought the Prepare to Die edition for 20. Bandai Namco class move. I think it's because honestly, this is kind of just like a retextured work. Like it's just like they've added texture. I don't even think they've added texture. I think they've just bettered the resolution. Maybe they've added some things there, but it's $20.
$20
for the remaster.
Right.
And it's gonna be 40 on the console.
Yeah, 40 on the console.
Even if you own the PS3 version. Even if you own the PS3 version of the game.
That's what I was going to say. Could you take your physical copy to Bandai Namco of that PS3 version and get $20 knocked off the price?
No. So that's the thing. It's when it comes to loot boxes, we kind of trailed into another thing there at the end. But when it comes to loot boxes, that's our feeling. Like, we feel like loot boxes are fine. I mean, I don't even care if they make sense under the context of the game. My deal is when you start selling them.
Right.
Because then I'm suspect of the drops. I'm suspect of the entire experience. Like, how much experience would I be getting if these weren't available for sale? Would I be getting experience more often? How many drops would I be getting if these things weren't for sale? How many, you know, like, that's the thing.
Well, and that's the thing is...
It fucks with the integrity of your game. It fucking undermines whatever you're trying to do with your progression system. It fucking undermines it all.
Yeah.
It makes me think, oh, well, player choice, you know what that is? My player choice is not to play it.
To skip the game.
Skip the fucking game.
I'll pay to take the ankle cuffs off, please. I want to sprint now.
I don't want to do that, though. I don't want to have to pay. I feel like me giving you a day one price is enough.
That's why
like, that's the thing. If Fortnite was free to play, and, like, by now it was free to play, which it fucking should be, the campaign mode should be free to play. All right? I don't give a fuck. They've made how much money off of the $40 initial price? On top of having these predatory piñatas in the fucking game, right? Fortnite should be free to fucking play. Overwatch should be free to fucking play. Alright? Fucking Blizzard, World of Warcraft should be free to fucking play.
Oh, yeah.
Hearthstone is free to play. But let's bitch about that one.
Yeah,
let's bitch about Hearthstone. That's free to play.
Free to play.
Let's bitch about Heroes of the Storm. It's free to play.
They're doing free to play models.
The only thing I would bitch about when it comes to fucking Heroes of the Storm is how fucking disrespectful they have been to their own properties.
To their own characters.
They've turned it into a goddamn carnival sideshow to make money off fucking microtransaction cosmetics. Yeah. Whatever, I'm fine with it. You know, you gotta make your money somehow.
And that is
just turn everything that you had taken seriously up to a few years ago, just take it and throw it away. Fuck it. Deckard Cain puts you to sleep by reading you Diablo lore.
And that one right there is just funny because it's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Of a copy.
It's a copy of a copy of their original IP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's funny.
Except for it's worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our thoughts on loot boxes. The Cold Warrior, I had a Cold Warrior comment. He was saying, are you gonna, like, what do you think is the best way to do loot boxes? It's like, not that they can buy it just so they have to play it forever to get it. Well, that's the thing. I don't think that if they're free and they're not, you know, like, it's like, okay, if they're for sale, the problem with that is I'm going to be distrustful of what's coming out of them. When they're not for sale, I'm not distrustful. And with Vermintide 2, I've not had a single problem with any of it.
Well, we've seen it in games like For Honor, where the dev comes out and says, it's thousands of dollars, or we never intended for you to have these things.
Yeah.
If they were just organically got instead of bought,
then how, would that have been the case?
Yeah.
Would it have been so grind heavy?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You see Star Wars, and that's the thing, like, just, fuck, loot boxes are fine with me. They're fine with me. They've been a part of gaming since Dungeons and Dragons. I'm fine with random rewards at the end of a quest. My problem comes in when you start selling those and giving the payers an advantage over the players, trying to turn the players into payers. Fuck your game. Not gonna play it.
Done.
Because there's examples of games that fucking can do it fair and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking excuse for me to take, like, especially from billionaire companies, dude.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, Blizzard just has to sell them.
Yeah.
They have to sell loot boxes. Epic Games, with the top-selling game of all time, the fucking most played game and Twitch-streamed game of all time, they need to sell loot piñatas to make their money. No. Fucking love you guys. Till next time, stay awesome. As always, let us know below what you guys think. What are your thoughts on loot boxes? Till next time, stay fucking awesome, everybody.